first of all, welcome. And I'm sure everyone would like to join me in congratulating you for staying the length of time that you have. 1979, what was it like in those very early days with Reach?
Very, very different to what I saw when I came in last night. First of all, the country didn't know really very much about Reach. A few people had met in '78. There had been some duplicated letters sent in the post to doctors' surgeries, some of them filed away, never to be seen again. When our daughter was born, it was Alice actually, my wife's Bridget, but she's here. Alice was born, like some people I've met already, nobody had seen a child like that in the hospital. You know, 1 in 10,000 births, something like that. So you can understand that now with hindsight. But there wasn't much knowledge of assistance. And I suppose really those people who gathered in '78 in London area, they were almost touching on anger that there wasn't much around to help their child. And gradually, by having that letter filed away in our doctor's surgery, somebody could remember something and said, well, there's a lady in Chesterfield who might know something about it. Pick up the phone, and a month later we're meeting 6 other children in a fairly cold old hall, but it was the start of our Reach journey.
And looking at Reach today, what is because you're still working hard, you're still trying to make sure we get that message out there. What do you feel the single most important aspect of the Reach message would be when you're out there talking to people from ministers to, you name it, leaders and doctors and so on?
I think the whole idea is to not be afraid of what the children present, because they nearly all get over it as far as I know. They're tremendous abilities. Our own Alice is just really now mother of 3. She's a qualified pharmacist. So, you know, the no limits thing is very, very apt. That really, if you're talking to anybody, is to say, yes, the abilities of these children need to be recognised, and grateful to the parents as well as they come together and get on board, because the early years of being a parent, when you discover your child is a little bit different, that's a challenge. And to try and be strong with that and help people understand by sharing at events like this, at regional events, whatever, that's when we can communicate to people that there is always somebody around the corner somewhere in the country to help.
And actually, one of the things that I always like to focus on at these weekends is particularly new families. You know, we saw 42%. This is their first time. Having been to numerous events like this, what would your advice be to a new person at one of these weekends to make the most out of the event and the whole family of Reach?
Right, for those new parents, don't be afraid to say hello. If you're in a queue for the coffee, just say hello to somebody, because you'll find they're either got loads of experience or none, so you get a shared anticipation of what the day is bringing. And everything you do today, you'll be able to reflect on and get a lot more out of, and I think you'll want to keep coming back. Maybe not always to this sort of event, but maybe to the regional, the national events that are held and the activity weekends. Try and make that more available to everybody. Pass the message on that Reach is here and can help.
One of the great things I love about Reach is the fact that it's inspired so many role models who've come back as ambassadors, and we're going to see some of them today. That obviously is a big difference to when you started out.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you've probably, most of you in the audience, aware of Paralympics. Let's just take that. But at the time when we came together, there wasn't really the attention on Paralympics. It wasn't brought to the national screens. It was a few films taken afterwards. You get the right thing later on, late one night. But then it started in a big way. And our own daughter got selected to be in the Paralympic team to go to Atlanta. And she came back with a bronze medal for long jump as a 16-year-old. 4.35 meters, I think, which is about from there to there. I can't jump it, but You know, and then she went on and went around Europe, and that helped enormously. And because Reach knows about that and assisted people into what people term elite sports, now recognising what they can do. And I know you're going to hear a bit more about that later. But there is a lot that can be gained. It was very different. You know, we didn't have mobile phones. We used fax machines when we shouldn't have done from our work to communicate.
We'll explain what a fax is later to some of you.
But, you know, computers even. When I was national chairman, I was using an Acorn Electron, which had 32K of memory. And you plugged a cassette in so you could do page 2 or page 3. And then you put it through and it printed.
We'll also explain what a cassette is as well.
So we've come a long, long way. And the fact that you've talked about technology, you know, you lost me about that third word. So, yeah, we have mobile phones now, which everybody relies on. And none of that was there. So there isn't really the excuse for not communicating. And it was harder then when we started. But we did change from a sort of unknown, slightly angry. You mentioned my visits with ministers. You know, I met Baroness Trumpington when she was alive and at the Roehampton Centre as a day, and I was representing. You know, she didn't know what I was, but on that day I was chairman of Reach. The rest of the thing I was doing my normal work. And to have just a few conversations, just a few minutes, sowed in her mind that we were a force to be reckoned with.
Now, you've been with Reach, I reckon that's 44 years.
Yeah.
What keeps you so engaged and motivated still? Because we naturally see a little bit of a drop-off once people's children have got to an age where they've grown up and they've moved on. Sometimes people are less in contact, but you are still very much there, you know, with everything. What is it that keeps you going?
Yeah, I think from 1999, that's what sparked me again. Alice was then 20-something and didn't really need us. I dare say she didn't need me to be involved with Reach, but I became involved then with the bursary panel, managing awards to our own children as they face particular needs, adaptations, progress in their life, maybe going to sporting events. I believe we actually gave some money to James when he first did his pilot's licensing. So things like that. That last 20 years, from 99, well, 23, whatever it is, that I've been involved with that and helping, as a parent, a little bit of a knowledge of what type of facilities were available to assist children, alongside very good specialist doctors, OTs, and other people, other parents formed that panel. And we wrote our own rules then. Those are being refreshed at the moment. I'm still talking to people within the organisation about the changes which are necessary. So I think we can say that using that long experience, that keeps me going, and I'll do what I can until I'm not able to do what I can, put it that way.
Well, certainly, I mean, to that level of commitment is extraordinary. And when you're amongst the family, you must have made so many amazing friends as part of the Reach family over the years.
Yeah, across the whole broad spectrum of Reach, I do know a lot of people, perhaps less so in the last 20 years because I've not been present at too many meetings, but I'm aware of what goes on, read within Reach and whatever, and respond when I'm asked to, yeah.
Do you see any difference in the youngsters of Reach today versus the youngsters of Reach of the 70s and 80s?
Most certainly, because when we joined, I would say the majority of children in a room such as this would have been under 2. And I came in last night with Bridget and we walked into the foyer there, and there were all these teenagers and young adults around, and suddenly thought, you know, the world has changed an awful lot, and it's brilliant to see that age group being able to pass on life to the younger people and to the new parents who are here today, you know, so that your boundaries are pushed away and you can focus on the real benefits of what your children's going to bring you.
And that segues beautifully into my last question, because we've got our AGM coming up later on, and we're looking back at the incredible history of Reach, but actually then also looking forward to the next 5 years. What would you like to see Reach, or how would you like to see Reach evolve?
I think I'd like to see that where it's possible, those middle-aged people in that group I've just mentioned, and the older teenagers, not to be frightened of assisting this organisation. You know, I started, I think I was 34, knew nothing about it, knew nothing about children with some form of arm disability. But not to be frightened. You've got a tremendous knowledge of what you've grown up to be, and you'll be able to communicate because you've got that knowledge, and you can change the world for so many other people.
I can't say anything more than that. That was just a phenomenal way to end. Thank you so much. Please, for everybody, Bill Basford.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. But before you go, that, I think, is testament to the gratitude everyone feels for all the work that you've done. But before you go, I know our chair, who you're going to hear from later on, Chris Creamer, would just like to pop up and say hello. I'll just grab a microphone for you. There you go.
Hello. On behalf of everybody in Reach, in testament for your years of longevity and service to Reach, and I know you're still here for us, 1979 to 2023, that's a long time. So we just want to present you with a token of our gratitude. Maybe that way would be.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chris Creamer, who you're going to hear from later on, and Bill Basford. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Lovely.